and they have just recently seen a refrigerator standing on the side of the street, or maybe they have something that they want to throw away soon. So this is how to convert a small little refrigerator into a hydroponics tank. And as you can see, we've got a little broccoli and tomato plant growing. These are from previously failed hydroponics attempts that I've made. But there you go, there's the door, and you can see lots of bubbles. So, what did we make here? Basically, we take a refrigerator. Refrigerators in the bottom, they'll normally have, like they always have their tank where they have the Freon gas or whatever they have. You basically need to rip all that stuff out using a drill. There's a few screws. There's normally like a plate that you need to remove. And that thing is also connected on the inside. The refrigerator actually has some tubes that go into it, which contain that gas. They are made of aluminum, so they're actually easy to cut. After you've removed that whole area, you have a nice little box where you can create and put all of your motors. These motors are about $3 a piece. You can get them offline, and basically they are air motors. They pump oxygen, they pump air into an aquarium for fish so that the fish don't die. Now, each one of them has two tubes coming out of it. Those tubes run up the tank, and they come out the side. They come out the side over here, and they go into the tank. And then I'll show you later exactly how that works. But that's what happens when you free this area. You can make a nice little door so that it's easy to work with. If the tubes ever come undone, sometimes they will pop out because the air is pushing against them. But basically, yeah, I've got 6 motors. 6 motors are attached to the extension cord there. The extension cord runs out and into the wall. In addition, 3 of the tubes are actually coming out into these separate tanks that I made, which is another idea that you can do for hydroponics. Basically, just take a bucket, drill a hole into it, place the tube into the bucket, and voila, you have some kale. Those are the roots of the kale, freestanding. He's doing very nicely, nice and healthy leaves. And what do we have here? Basically, we've got a tube with an air stone, which is making bubbles. Those bubbles, as you can see, put oxygen into the roots, and that way the plant is getting its oxygen. So, the plant is receiving oxygen from the bubbles, and what are we doing? We're basically, instead of giving the plant water all the time and watering the garden, we're actually giving it air. So the plant constantly has enough water, it's constantly growing, and will never run out or never dehydrate, and all it needs is a bit of air. In addition to the air that it's receiving in the roots, the leaves actually pick up oxygen as well. But they do grow better when there's oxygen directly to their roots. So this is the best way to do it. But yes, you can also do it without air stones. So here I have 3 different tanks, 3 different plants. These kale are maybe 3 months old. Now, in the tank itself, we have the same idea. Those tubes that you saw run into the tank, and they go into the major tank, providing the whole thing with oxygen. These roots are also about maybe a month old on this tomato plant, but now I've germinated some new seeds and they're ready to go. Over here in the back corner, you cannot really see it, but that white thing right there is a tube that goes down. Basically, it's a hole that goes down into the bottom of the tank, and on the very bottom, underneath, we have cut over here a little faucet. Alright, a little faucet. That's how you can drain the water from the tank when you're ready to empty it. Another important thing is that the water level on these tubes, if the water level raises too high because the rain comes in, it will go through those tubes and overflow your motors. That's why it's important to drill just underneath that a drainage hole. Alright, a drainage hole is placed at the water level. Maximum water level that you could have is here. If it rains and water is going into the top, the water level will rise and come out this hole and into the ground. And that's basically it. The last thing, the top of the refrigerator was made out of metal, so you do need to use a metal jigsaw. The way to cut these holes, not very nice holes, but it doesn't matter. The way to cut these holes is to drill a hole here with a metal drill bit, and then to take a metal jigsaw and to drill the hole. And you do it enough, you make your circle first, and then you pop in your little baskets, and you should be fine. Also, the entire thing is insulated, so you can see, this is the insulation that comes with the fridge. Look at that insulation, it's very thick. Alright, sorry, it's very thick, meaning that in the summer, the water temperature will stay cold, and in the winter, it will stay warm, which is exactly what the plants like. Now, the great thing about a refrigerator that I like is that, 1, it's very nice and compact, very neat, and 2, you also get the freezer. Now the freezer, I was not able to make a separate tank, and I probably wouldn't if I wanted to, but it does make for a very nice little storage area where you can keep all sorts of things. Now I've kept all of my tubes and stuff in there, and I'm eventually going to move these chemicals. Basically I use just normal growing chemicals. You can move the chemicals into here and keep them nice and safe, which is what I will do. And now you have a nice airtight seal. One nice thing about a refrigerator is that the whole thing is airtight. So because we have the normal refrigerator seal, no little snails, which there are tons of little snails, they cannot get in and start eating the roots and probably the plant itself. And that's it. That is how you make a hydroponics refrigerator. One other great thing is that the tank is big enough so that if you want, you can convert the whole thing into an aquaponics tank, take some fish, throw them inside, make sure you don't have chemicals inside because they will all die. And yeah, the fish will basically eat the stuff that grows on the roots. Then they will in turn poop out that stuff. The plants will get their nutrients from the poop, and everything will grow. And then we can all eat fish poop in harmony. Happy gardening!